This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Building habits isn't necessarily the easiest task to accomplish. Okay, sure, occasionally a new habit will stick relatively quickly, but not all of them do. Sometimes it requires additional focus and effort to make it over that hump of building a new habit. Maybe we're just not trying hard enough, or maybe our spirit is already filled to the brim with bad habits that it makes it very difficult to add anything new until we declutter the old. Here's a 3-step process to help you break up with bad habits so you can explore new habits and rebuild your life. Step 1 is map out your habit loop. And I know it sounds complicated, but I promise it's much easier than you think. The only real talent you need is the skill of self-observation. Here's how it works. Let's say, for example, that you're trying to break the bad habit of being negative. Now, maybe your specific bad habit is something different, and that's okay. I'm simply illustrating how these steps work. So if you're working through this exercise in real time, then replace being negative with your specific bad habit. However, for my example, let's assume your bad habit is being negative. Okay, after we identify one bad habit that we're looking to break, now we have to use our skill of self-observation and identify any and all feelings, actions, and emotions that trigger this bad habit for us. And these triggers are what we're calling the habit loop. Feelings, actions, and emotions that are surrounding a particular bad habit, like a circle or a loop, if we were to draw this out on a piece of paper. So continuing with our example of being negative, some of our triggers may include feeling hurt or trying to avoid feeling a particular emotion. Are we experiencing low self-esteem? How about sadness? Or maybe we're reflecting what someone else in our life is doing. Now, this list may be short or long, depending on the habit you're trying to break and the triggers associated with it in your life. Again, this is just an example I am giving. All right, now that we've mapped out our habit loop and understand what triggers a particular bad habit for us, step 2 is all about taking our actions and linking them to outcomes. Outcomes meaning how do we feel mentally, emotionally, and or physically every time we partake in this particular bad habit. Again, going back to our example of being negative, in this situation, our goal is to ask ourselves questions like, how do I feel when I'm being negative? How are my emotions impacting those around me? Am I pushing others away? Am I losing sight of what creates happiness and joy in my life? Remember your answers to these questions. Write them down in your journal or stick a reminder on your refrigerator or create a wallpaper on your phone. Whatever works for you. Just find a way to keep this top of mind because it's going to play a vital role during the final step on this journey. But before I share what that final step is, I'd love for you to comment below 3 things. Number 1, what bad habit are you trying to break in your life? Number 2, whether or not you're enjoying this video so far. And 3, if you're familiar at all with Squarespace. Seriously, comment below and let me know. I'll also share a few bad habits that I've personally struggled with in the comment section as well. And for those not familiar with Squarespace, they're an all-in-one platform to help you build a beautiful online presence. Everything from blogging to building an online store or creating a portfolio to share your work. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this help me break bad habits? Well, let's assume for a second that your bad habit is procrastinating and you've avoided starting your business or turning your journal into a blog or a resource for others when you know you have something valuable and unique to share. Why not take that next step and replace that bad habit with action and finally press that publish button with ease? See, personally, I've been using Squarespace since 2016 and I haven't looked back. Now, if you're interested in finally pressing that publish button and building a website of your own, then definitely check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And then when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/RonaldLBanks to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Okay, the third and final step in this process is replacing the habits you don't want with the habits you do want. Sounds like common sense, I know, but it requires a bit of work up front that we just did in steps 1 and 2. Now, really quick, I'm proud of you if you've made it this far into the video. It shows that you're serious about breaking bad habits in your life, and because of that, I have a special download for you. No email required. If you scroll to the bottom of the description below this video, you'll find a special link where you can download a recap of today's video. This document is accessible on your phone or computer, and it highlights the 3 steps we're talking about in this video, as well as some additional tidbits I'm certain you'll find value in as well. Use this as a reminder every time you prepare to break bad habits in your life, or simply use it as an opportunity to tell your friends and family about the value you're receiving from this channel and in this community. All right, let's go ahead and break down this final 3rd step a little bit further before I get out of your hair. As I mentioned, the work we did in steps 1 and 2 is going to help tremendously with this final step. See, in order to replace your bad habits with positive habits, you have to use your triggers from step 1 and the outcomes you determined in step 2 as motivation and fuel. This means questioning every action you take to ensure that it's directing your life down a path that's opposite of being negative or procrastinating or whatever bad habit you're trying to break personally. Do this by highlighting the feelings you want to feel or the outcomes you desire to create because of your actions. Remember, your habits shape your life more than you realize. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Keep growing on your journey. Always stay true to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.